Well, hello everybody, welcome back down into the dungeon for a quick look at what's still growing on down here. And today I thought we'd start by taking a look at the mead. It occurs to me it hasn't really shown up in quite a while, but I think it's coming along nicely. So I decided to move it up off the floor, well, it was on the crate really, onto one of these higher shelves. I gave it some serious weight testing before I did so though, and it seems to be a good thing. It's getting to be a slightly lighter color, I think, and if we look carefully we can start to see some sediment forming on the bottom. So I've stopped swirling it as per the advice I was given, let it settle, and I'm just kind of waiting now. But it does still smell quite interesting, and I'm not worried about having fouled or anything. Seems to still be enough liquid in the airlock there, so yeah, not a month, but I didn't do it right, so maybe 2 months. We'll see what it looks like at the 2-month mark. I guess that'll be the 5th. I guess today's dungeon plant tour will start with the house plants on the once tomato forest shelf. I gotta say, it's a lot easier to see what the individual plants are here. The lemon tree seems to be doing much better under this more standard type light bulb than it was under that purple grow light. The coffee trees, happy but still largely unwashed. Both seem to have definite signs of new growth though, so that is delightful. And this Dieffenbachia, I don't even know what's going on with this thing anymore. Alright, so here's the aquaponic garden. It's a little awkward with the lights right now because I've finally brought the second one over, and it is definitely a little brighter for the plants, so that's good. But I still need to fine-tune how they're hanging there. I'm not quite happy with that. The tomato is gone a little nuts, got all leggy and flopped over. It was hanging off to the side. I just dropped it into the back planter there because I still haven't planted anything in there. And it looks like now it's getting a little more serious about growing like a tight plant. So we'll see if that side roots, and if it does, I'll cut this side out, I guess, and just let it grow back there. What a tomato wants, it wants. The mint in the back there is still looking quite happy. I'm thinking it's getting on time to change out these green onions. Maybe move them to the front so I can get a better look at what's growing on with them. But here's the Aji Penec. You can see a few aphids on it. So I'll have to bring in some of the ladybugs that I keep finding outside. But I also see, we'll skip up above this first light here. Zoom in, little camera, you can do it. I see flower starts. So that is excellent. The Aji Penec that was going outside in the coffee can, still not looking good. So I made the final decision on that today, and it's staying in. It's come back downstairs. We'll look at it in a second under the big funky purple light. The basil here in the aquaponics though, it's a little splotchy. Time to look into, well, we'll start with iron, take it from there. Little Epsom salt probably wouldn't hurt either. As you can see, I still haven't transplanted the dark opal basils, but they are looking much happier under this light. It's very interesting. Some plants really respond quite well to that funky spectrum, and some plants just don't. But let's go take a look at that. Can't do a dungeon visit without checking on the fish. They're all just hiding in the corner right now. May have overfed them when I was in here earlier, or they just got suddenly camera shy. Both are very real possibilities. I'm sure that food won't go to waste. I'm thinking it's camera shy. Alrighty. Over to the big table. So here we are at the so-called big table, quote unquote, and I am still only running the one, what is this, Mars Hydro 200 or something like that. I don't even remember anymore. Should probably put a label on it so I actually know what I'm dealing with here. Here we can see the coffee tree that I transplanted. It's sort of in a double cup system, sort of going like the cracky peppers. Stay there. Now, it had to happen sooner or later, but here we have the third and final chicken bucket pepper. I haven't been shaking it over the fish tank because I didn't want to dislodge our little friend who is still in a cocoon there. Getting nice and glossy though. Oh, too far. Getting nice and glossy though. So that'll probably crack open any day now. But I think it's too late for the plant that it's on. That ring of fire is, well, it's looking pretty toasted. Pretty toasted indeed. Speaking of, so here's the Aji Penec that was going outside. It has lost a lot of leaves, a lot of flowers, a couple of its smaller pepper starts. But I'm pleased to say that big one still hanging on there. I'm hoping that coming back down to where it's been its whole life, it will be a happier pepper plant and just go back to producing all those happy little peppers for me, because things were going fine and then I had to mess with it, and I thought, yeah, I'll take it outside. It's the biggest, it's the strongest, the theory sounded fine, and yet the three smaller plants are doing much better. The smallest of them is doing the best. So we'll check on that in a couple of days. We've got, what, some Aji Fantasies transplanted from the seedling table. Bootla clamshell back there. Buena Malata. I don't know. Some Bad Brains peppers. So we're not completely without peppers down here. With that chocolate Bootla and its accompanying ladybug cocoon. You can see the paper lantern that's being tortured by being left in the bottom of a water bottle. It's not only doing fine, happy, green, and healthy, it's got flower starts. So that's pretty incredible. And the Aji Penec back here seems to be pretty loaded with aphids and flower starts. So that is great. One thing I thought was kind of interesting going on, we've got this Aji habanero. Those of you who have been following all this craziness in the dungeons know I've been, you know, kind of questioning the existence of this pepper all the way through. But wouldn't you know it, it's the first one to put a root out the bottom, even though the top of it still looks pretty bad. Pretty bad. So there's not a lot going on down here at the moment, and yet there's still, you know, rather a lot going on for, it's kind of a basement garden. None of this is going outside. Loving that oregano. But keeps me busy. Keeps me able to play in the garden when it's raining or whatnot outside. And super exciting news, just before I grab the camera to do this, I was checking around outside, and as it turns out, I have some cherry blossoms on that tree out in the side yard, so I am absolutely blown away by that. I wasn't expecting to see those for a couple more years at least. Anywho, I think that is where I'm going to wrap it up today, so thank you all for joining me on this adventure, and I will see you tomorrow, where, weather permitting, we will go take a look at how things are doing outside, in particular how those tomatoes are doing that I planted out in the bunker. So yeah, let's hope for nice weather tomorrow, and I'll see you then.